Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Shit's Hard. I'm your host, Amber, and today we're talking about confidence. Basically, we're just gonna be going over like the voice inside your head and just like, I don't know, like the power that it holds, kind of self-talk, all that good stuff. I think this is gonna be a good episode. I was just having a conversation with someone about this like the other night, and I was like, perfect. This is like an amazing episode to talk about. Kind of goes along the lines of like, I feel like a lot of shit we've talked about before. So let's get into it. This should be an interesting episode. I'm like excited but anxious because we are filming on a literally like all new equipment somehow on accident. This was not purposeful. I got a new laptop last week because my laptop was like literally shitting out. And I was like, oh yeah, like let me get a nice one. Let me invest in like a nice one. This is going to last me forever. Great. And then my phone got stolen at the bar on Saturday last week. And so then I had to invest in a new phone. So now we have the 15 fucking Pro Max. So that's cool. And on top of that, right when I was about to record today, my mic broke. And it just like wasn't fucking recording, which it might have been from when I dropped it because Princess knocked it on the ground. So either way, how fun. We have all new equipment. So let's just like fucking play around with it, I guess. My fucking credit card statement is reflecting all of this, so that fucking blows, but whatever. We're investing in ourselves, so we'll go from here. So let's get into it. As far as confidence goes, things that I want to talk about today is like, okay, so the voice inside your head is like a really important place to start. And it's so fucking powerful. The conversation I was having with someone the other night was basically just along the lines of like, you can like, your mind is so powerful and like you can convince yourself of anything. And like it has so much power in the real world too. So what we were talking about was like career wise, but like this is true everywhere. What we were talking about like, oh, you know, like if you have this like passion, this dream, this career, you know, the idea of like being a podcaster and getting this out there and being successful in your career, you know, like if you like want to be an actor or an actress, it's like, this is a pretty big dream. It's like half of getting yourself there is like just genuinely believing that you can do that. Like genuinely like in your head thinking like, oh yeah, that is in the realm of things that like I do believe I can achieve. Because it's so fucking crazy how strong your brain is in terms of like knowing that you can do stuff. And it's like, I don't know why I've always been like delusional enough to like think that I can do whatever the fuck I wanted. So I like never struggled with this, but I do understand. Well, I feel like I did struggle with this though. Like definitely like getting myself out to LA. Like if you would have told 16-year-old me that like I was going to be living in LA doing a podcast and like just doing all this shit that I was doing, I would be like, probably not. I'd be like, I can't do that. There was a point in time where I didn't think it was possible for me to move to LA. You know what I mean? Which is like insane, obviously. And then I don't know how I like changed my mindset, but I was like, probably mostly therapy, but it was like, I finally realized like you can like actually do whatever the fuck you want. Like it's like true. Like you genuinely can. Like whatever this, like the first thing that just came to your mind when you think of like this big dream, like if you could do whatever you wanted, like if it didn't matter like what degree you had, how much money you had, or like whatever obstacles you think are in your way, like what's your dream, career, whatever, a goal, achievement. That's like for sure possible. Like 100% is possible. But like the first step is like believing that it is possible and knowing in your head that like you can do that. And then obviously there's like a bunch of hard shit after that. But like, I'm not saying it's necessarily easy, but like just, I don't know. I feel like that's a big difference that separates like successful people from like, I don't know, not successful people, is literally just the mindset of like, oh, I can do this. Because it's like, if you don't believe in yourself, why would anybody else type of thing? But I don't know. I want to talk about like your brain in so many other ways, because obviously I'm a personal trainer. And so this comes up all the time in the gym, like working out and pushing heavy weights is also like mentality is a huge part of it. And I obviously notice this with clients and people and other trainers and all that good stuff is like, even like pushing like heavier weights is like half of it is just believing that you can. And I don't know, like I noticed that in my own fitness journey as well. Definitely when I was younger, I did have a personal trainer at a time. And I will say, especially now that I'm a trainer, but also since I had one in the past, it's like, it's a pretty like invaluable like thing to have. Like that's like, and by that I mean like priceless, like just like the mindset part of like someone else who can see you from the outside can see you doing the weights and like know that you can go up and you can do more. It's hard to know that for yourself. Even I struggle with knowing that for myself. So funny. One of my clients the other day, she like asked me if I had a trainer. And I was like, why? I mean, I am a trainer. Why would I have my own? She was like, I don't know. I was like, to be honest with you, I would consider it. I was like, it is like not a bad, like, it's like an investment in yourself. And if I had someone to just like work me out every day, that'd be amazing. Like, even though that's what I do for other people, it's like, I don't know. It's a mind game. I mean, it's one of those things where like some of my clients are like with me because they're like, I need to have that appointment with you, like with another person so that I will show up. And like, I can't miss these sessions because I don't want to let you down. Whereas when you're working on your own, it's like, oh, I can skip today. I'm not like letting anybody down. I don't have to cancel on anybody. You're just canceling on yourself. Which is also like, you know, you shouldn't cancel on yourself. But that's like a harder thing to like keep, I feel like. But I was having another conversation with another person like a couple weeks ago about this like whole brain stuff. And they were telling me that they used to like be really bad at remembering names. As am I. Like, I'm very bad at remembering names. And I mean, it's especially harder for me because like, again, like being a trainer at a gym, like a lot of people know who you are. You like, just because you're on display all the time. So like, I interact with a lot of people, but like, it's hard to keep track, obviously, of like who's who and stuff. But like, I definitely say in my head all the time, I'm like, oh, I'm not very good at remembering names. And then I'm like, not. But this person that I was talking to was like, I used to be the same way. And he basically was like, I decided that I wanted to be good at remembering people's names. And he was like, anytime I was introduced to someone new, I would like repeat their name back to them or whatever. And he was like, and like in my head, I would say to myself, I'm good at remembering people's names. I would say that to myself. And he was like, even though I didn't think it was true, like, I don't like, he was like, I genuinely don't think I am. He was like, I said it so much to myself, like every single time that I met someone new or just like every day, I would say to myself, I'm good at remembering people's names. And he was like, literally, eventually, I was just good at remembering people's names. And like, I could remember everyone's names that I had met. And I was like, so fucking true. Like, the mind is so fucking powerful. If you like let it be, like, you can force that bitch to work for you. So fucking crazy. And so the conversation I was having last night was more in regards to like, how can you use your brain in regards to like the relationship to yourself? And if you spend any time with me, you will know that I can be like a little bit annoying with this one, but it's because I'm like training my brain. Okay. It's not like I'm like trying to be annoying, but if you spend any time with me and you see me like walk in front of a mirror, almost every time myself, if I see a mirror, if I look at myself in the mirror, I always make a comment, sometimes out loud, majority of the time out loud. But if I'm like not super comfortable with who I'm around, maybe I won't, but like, especially at home, when I like walk past, there's like a mirror by our front door or whatever. And every time I walk past that mirror, or even in the bathroom, like when I'm washing my hands, and I'm like looking in the mirror, I will always say something about myself. Like, it's like, this is like a habit that I created, is every time I like see myself in the mirror, I like have something good to say. And usually like lately it's just been something like, oh my God, like she is so beautiful. Like, oh my God, you look amazing. And I'm kind of talking to myself like another person because I find it easier. I know a lot of people struggle with like talking to themselves as like, I'm talking like nicely about themselves, like as an I, like, oh, I'm very pretty. Oh, I look really good. And I don't struggle with that one as much. I think for some reason, I just enjoy talking about myself in third person. Like, I think it's fun. Like, I like talking about Amber. Like, she's so cute. Like, and that is like the dialect that I have when I look in the mirror. And I made this a habit of mine because I wanted to get good at it. Like, I wanted to form like a really positive relationship with myself. Not necessarily that I even had like a negative one. I don't think. I know a lot of people struggle with this one. I don't think I've ever had like a ton of like negative self-talk in my head. I'm trying to think. But it was never outwardly positive either for me. Like, I don't know. I guess I just like never thought about myself too much. But definitely sometimes if I did something wrong, it would be like, okay, yeah, like you're being an asshole. Okay, like you're really stupid. Oh, like whatever. I just like wanted to be like more purposeful and like intentional in the way that I spoke about myself. And so like I make it a point in my head too to like catch myself as to like how I'm talking about myself. So if I were to say in my head, like if something happens, whatever, and I were to say in my head, like, Amber, like you really fucked up, like you're an asshole, you're a shitty person, you shouldn't have done that. And I definitely did kind of have one of these moments like a week ago, and it was not good. However, when I do that kind of thing, because it's inevitable, you know, you're gonna fuck up this. It's like so much easier it's so much easier said than done to cultivate a relationship with yourself. It's like, it's not easy, especially when you're already in the habit of like saying negative things about yourself. What you can do is like catch yourself. Like what you want to focus on is like the correction. So like, just like that, like positive, like way, like connotation of speaking about yourself. So it's like, you know, if I say in my head, like, Amber, like you shouldn't have done that, like you're a shitty person, I'll catch myself and I'll be like, Amber, you're not a shitty person. You did a shitty thing. And that's an important distinction to make with yourself. Just the same, and like it's just the same as talking to your friends. I know everybody says it, talk to yourself the way you talk to your friends or whatever. But you wouldn't tell your friend that they're a shitty person for something that they did, or whatever. You would just be like, you're not a shitty person. You did a shitty thing. And I reminded myself of this like a week or two ago when I kind of fucked up. I would just remind myself, like, you're not a bad person. You did a bad thing. You're going to take accountability for it. You're going to learn from it. And like, you're going to grow. You know what I mean? Because like at the end of the day, that is the only way that we learn from things. And I talked about this a little bit in the last episode in terms of like regrets. I don't have too many regrets because I have to learn the hard way. You know what I mean? Like I can give myself that grace. I can look at the thing that I did wrong a week or two ago and be like, you had to learn the hard way. You know what I mean? But now you did it and you know that it was wrong. And now you're going to move forward and not do it again. You know what I mean? Like now we're past it. So at least like that's kind of nice. And sure, do I like kind of wish I hadn't have? Sure. But like, again, like then I wouldn't have learned the lesson and I probably would have done it again sometime in the future. You know what I mean? So it's like kind of being grateful for your fuck ups and knowing that like giving yourself that grace and knowing that like you're doing the best that you can. I think we talked about that one too. But I want to go back to that idea of like your own self-talk. I think it's so important. I even talked about this a little bit in the girlhood episode when I was talking about like, oh, when I see another girl and I get a little bit like, I'm like, oh, like she's so hot, she's so pretty. And it's like just making those corrections in your head is like so helpful. And I do the same thing. I actually learned this from, let me think for a second. So when I was an assistant to that influencer, when I came out to LA, this is back in like, I don't know, November like maybe this time last year, roughly. I learned a lot from her, good things. Like she's definitely like an inspiration to me. She's like super career driven, has a really good growth mindset, very like healthy mindset. She's a workhorse, but she knows that about herself. And she was actively working to like give herself those rests and breaks. She just had a really good, positive like outlook on all this shit. She wasn't not like entitled or anything like that. She's very down to earth, very grounded in like who she was as a person, how she treats other people, her career, success-wise, how she treats herself. And I learned so much from her. But just career-wise, when she was talking to me, and we were kind of like, we would obviously talk about like, what do you want to do? What's your goals here? Like, what are you looking for? And she was so like understanding when I was kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And I know that I'm going somewhere and I'm like very determined and hardworking, but I'm just like very lost in my 20s and like, I'm like trying to figure out who I am. And she was very like, yeah, it's absolutely. I was the same exact way when I came here. She had come like 6 years prior or something to LA by herself. And, also had like literally fucking nothing and no plan, no career or anything, barely even any connections in LA. Like, and she figured it out. And just the way that she talked about like me in terms of my career, like when she would like, she was so cute. She would always like give advice and stuff. I think she probably loves teaching, I think to an extent. She just like, I think she liked having me around probably because I think she saw herself in me a little bit. And that like drive and that fire and that like ability to like move across the country and like be like, I'm passionate about this. Like I'm going to get some shit done here. Even if I don't know where it is I'll end up, like I'm here for the fucking journey and I'm here to fucking like do what I came to do. And so she would always like just like give little advice or like if something would happen, because we went to like plenty of events and stuff together. If something would happen that she thought was like worth talking about, she would like remind me. She would be like, stay humble. Because she'd be like, when you make it, Amber, like remember like the people that helped get you there and always be respectful and appreciative of the people who helped you when you were a nobody. And it was just like, that was so powerful to me because for one, like she's just kind of like a stranger at some point, but she's talking to me like it was that connotation of how she's speaking to me. It wasn't if you make it, Amber, it was when. And I was like, this girl has it figured out. Like she does. And that's the same exact way she talks to herself. Like, honestly, this success stuff and whatever is like kind of fake it till you make it to an extent. Like, what does that mean? Like, it kind of means like if you want to be like, I don't know, like an influencer with 1.5 million followers, act like one. And what does act like one mean? Like post like one, create content like one, like, open your fucking Amazon storefront like one or whatever the fuck that means to you. It's the same exact thing with like, like if you want to be an actor or an actress and it's like, then act like one, like act like an actor or actress, like do your fucking lines, do your fucking scripts, like go to auditions, like do your shit. And it's just like, so like, I don't know. Like she was basically like in your head, if in your head you're already there, it's only a matter of time until the real world catches up. And that way of thinking is like next level success, like level of thinking. Like it really is, truthfully. Like shit's fucking crazy the power that your mind has. And it's like, yeah, the same thing with lifting. It's like if you have this goal of like, being this weight, being this fit, pushing this much weight, squatting this much. It's like if you kind of like think and train like you're already there, like it'll just be a matter of time until you catch up. Like right now, like I'm just in the process, like I will get there wherever it is that I'm going. And I don't know, that shit's so fucking powerful. I was having a conversation the other day with someone who does music, and they're very, very talented, and they kind of have this negative connotation about themselves where they are like, oh, like if this song pops off that I made, or like if I were to make it type of thing. And I like immediately was like, no. I was like, if you don't believe in you, why the fuck would anybody else? And you need to change that way of thinking in your head to it's not if, it's when. And it's totally fine to slip up, obviously, but like correct yourself. Like literally when you do it, like I would like give you the advice of like call yourself out. So like if you find yourself saying like, oh, like if I'm successful and I'm able to like get this job that I want, and then be like, wait, sorry, when I'm successful and I get this job that I want, then, I want this and that and whatever the fuck. So I don't know. Your mind is so powerful, and you just want to have it on your team, because it's like the same thing as anything else in your life. Like if your brain isn't working for you, it's working against you. So like just make it work for you. And again, so much easier said than done, but I don't know. I love talking about this kind of stuff, because like you really do have so much control over your life and the shit that you can accomplish and like your goals and all this shit. Like seriously, like I genuinely think you can do whatever the fuck you want. You just have to think you can do it. I'm your number one fucking supporter here. Like whatever it is you think that you're fucking capable of, I 100% believe it, for sure. And as soon as you can convince yourself that you can, we're golden. We're fucking golden. Something else that I want to talk about is like when you talk about yourself. I saw this TikTok. Basically, this is where this started at. I saw this TikTok that was basically like some kind of like journey self-help shit. I don't really know what it was about, but basically it was saying like, okay, close your eyes, like picture, like remember, like think of a memory from like the other day, not anything significant, something just like minor, tedious. Maybe like you're washing the dishes the other day, or maybe you were cooking dinner, or taking a shower, or whatever the fuck, like some monotonous task. And it was like in that memory right now, after I just said that, like whatever you pictured was the memory that you pictured in your brain in first person perspective or third person perspective. And this just like my brain was literally like, what? I was like, what? Why does that matter? And it's like so funny because like so the answer for me is usually third person perspective. I have no idea why, but I picture myself from the outside when I'm picturing these memories. And basically the video was saying that most people will remember their memories in first person perspective. Some people do third person perspective. Some people do both. I think that I can do both, like if I try to, but like for the most part, if I'm remembering something that I did yesterday, like right now I'm thinking of like doing the dishes yesterday, I can see myself from the outside. It's so weird because how am I doing that? Because I can't even think of what the back of my head looks like. I never see the back of my head. But I'm picturing myself in the kitchen washing the dishes. And I'm not, like, the perspective is not from here, like, washing the dishes. Like, it's from, like, behind me. It's so weird. And I don't know what I don't even know what the premise of the fucking video was. It was, like, something along the lines of, like, this is what it says about you and how you perceive yourself. But I'm just kind of curious as to, like, what you guys think or how you guys perceive yourself. And, like, I don't know. And what that means. I probably should have like watched the video all the way through so I could like tell you guys if there's like deeper meaning there. But I just thought it was like something interesting because I don't know. Like, do you dream in first person perspective or do you dream in third person perspective? Because I definitely feel like I dream in third person perspective. I rarely ever see myself from the first point of view. I have no idea why. Like I said earlier, majority of the time, if I'm talking about myself, I call her Amber. Like she's like a different person than me. Like I talk about her. Like I'm like, she does this podcast. She's so cute. She's like so funny. Like I was telling something the other day. I sat down to edit my my video from like the other week, and I like got on my laptop and pulled up the video, and I was like looking at myself, like rewatching the clip, And I was like, she's so cute and she looks so happy. And she's just like sitting there doing her little thing. Like, look at her talking. She's so passionate. And as I'm watching it, I'm just thinking about myself in third person point of view. Like, this is like a third person. I'm not like looking at that and thinking, it's not that I'm like not thinking it's me. I don't know why. That's like my first, like, that's like my go-to. It's just like, it's her. She's her. It's not like I'm outwardly thinking she's not me, but like, whatever. I just thought that was an interesting one. So you guys have to tell me what you think about it. But in terms of like how you talk to yourself in your head and all that kind of stuff, if that's something you struggle with, or even like this could be like physical appearance too, but it could be like mentally and emotionally, like your relationship with yourself. So this like applies to like your relationship with your body, with your mind, with like literally just everything about you. But I think if you struggle with the physical appearance one, because I know a lot of people do as well, I feel like I would recommend spending more time in the mirror. And I feel like I got this from my therapist or something a long time ago. So I feel like I've gotten better at this one as well. But I put a lot of time and effort into this one. Like, let me be clear. This is not fucking easy shit to do. But I spend a lot of time in front of the mirror. Like, purposefully, like, intentionally. And obviously, just like anybody else, when I look in the mirror, there's for sure things about myself that I don't like. I'm not even going to fucking tell you because I fucking don't even want to talk about it. But like there are things about myself that I do like, and that's a really good task that I feel like you can do to work on that relationship is like spend time in front of the mirror, especially before you get in the shower. I think I've said this in another episode, like do it fucking naked and like have nice things to say about yourself. Like literally think in your head, force yourself to say maybe just like 2 to 3, like to start 2 to 3 things that you like about yourself. And like and I'll tell you right now, like things that I like, usually would start with. I like love being a brunette. I'm like obsessed with the fact that like I have these like darker features. Like I love having dark eyes. I love having dark eyebrows. I love having dark hair. These are my favorite things about myself. The good thing about them is they probably won't change very much either. So like that's like an easy go-to. But it could be like your bone structure, facial structure, whatever, like your fucking earlobes. Like just like literally just like little things that you're like, okay, like I like this. Like I think that that's cute. I'm like happy that I look this way. Surely there's a few. Okay, surely there's a few. And literally just, so I mean, start with one if that's like just where you want to start at. And then just as well, when you find yourself looking in the mirror and like nitpicking, and I've been doing this lately as well, I just like, fine, we'll talk about it for the sake of the fucking video. I'll be vulnerable. We'll fucking talk about it. It's fine. I just feel like I've been breaking out bad as fuck lately. Like, first of all, ever since I came to California, my skin was like, what the fuck is this dry ass air? I'm freaking out. I'm stressed, so that's not helping. And then as of lately, for whatever fucking reason, California's been like humid. I don't know what the fuck that deal is, but it's been like muggy, which I'm just like really not fucking with. But I genuinely feel like I've been like breaking out bad lately. And like to the point at which I look in the mirror in the morning and I'm like genuinely like, fuck, like I don't want to go to work. I don't want to be seen by anyone. I don't want to be perceived. Like this is fucking annoying. Like I don't want anyone to see me. And that's a valid feeling. This is a very human feeling that all humans, of course, experience. I'm sure any of you listening to this can relate and are like, yeah, I felt that way before. And not every day is like that, but obviously some are going to be. And so like when shit like that happens, again, this literal like past week this has been happening, I like remind myself, like I stop and I'm like, okay, Amber, I'm like, that's fine, that's valid, like it's totally fair. But I'm like, one, like look at all the features that you like about yourself. Okay, focus on those. Okay, and recognize that like it's not that big of a deal. Like it's not that serious. It's like really not. Like it's like, okay, so you're breaking out. Worse things have happened. Like genuinely worse things have happened. It's all right. At least breakouts for the most part are pretty temporary. So like this will pass in like a week. It's not the worst thing that happens to you. And if people see you and they think that you're ugly, that's fine. That's okay. I'm okay with that. And like I kind of have to remind myself, I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm like, it's really not that big of a deal. It's like genuinely, I have this whole conversation with myself in my head because like, that's probably one of the bigger ones that I struggle with, like more often as well. It's just like fucking skin problems. It just like drives me up a fucking wall. But I've been really intentional about my relationship with my physical appearance and my skin. And I try to really go easy on myself. And although I do take like steps to like actively try to like fix these problems, you know, like I'm like switching my skincare routine and all of that. But I do try to at the same time not fixate on it so much that it's like it comes from a place of hate. I want to make sure that like if I'm trying to resolve these problems, it's like coming from a place of love. So like if that means like making sure that I know that I don't need to wear makeup to work. If I don't want to, like if I don't feel like putting it on, if I don't have time for it, there's no reason to rush and like throw something on just so that other people don't fucking see me breaking out. You know what I mean? Now, if I want to, and I'm feeling like, oh, I want to feel cute, I want to do my makeup, like I want to feel super like confident, like that, it's totally fine. I just try to like be really intentional and make sure that like it's coming from a good place. As long as it isn't coming from a like, oh, I have to put on makeup or else I would be fucking ugly and everyone will think I'm ugly and hate me. As long as it isn't coming from that place, like I feel like we're good. As long as we're being intentional. It's the same thing. I was having this conversation last night with somebody about like lip filler. And I was like, one day, like I think I might want to get lip filler. And I don't know, they were like, cool, that's great. And I was like, same exact concept though. Like I've really been like thinking about this. I mean, I'm not going to do this anytime soon probably, so it doesn't really matter. But just like in my life in the future, I want to be really intentional with things like that, getting work done on your face. And I want to be really intentional and specific and make sure that it's coming from a place of love. It's not coming from a place of like, oh, I fucking hate what I look like, so like I have to change it. Because if that's the deal, then it's like those kind of cosmetic procedures are probably not going to solve the problem. Because if you look at yourself physically and you nitpick and you like dig and like not and like keep doing like a bunch of shit to yourself, it's like this just kind of like an endless void, and there's always going to be something that you don't like, probably. Whereas, and the same thing goes for like physical appearance in regards to like the gym and working out. If you can focus on the things that you like about yourself and like also like enhance the things that you want to enhance from a place of love, I think that's totally cool. As long as you're doing it like mentally well, I think that's like actually really exciting. That's like, I love that for you. Same exact thing with that episode I did where we kind of talked about like, you know, being in the gym and like being a girl and like having like, you know, women who like have like really skinny waists and I said waists, so really skinny waists and like fat asses and this like hourglass figure. Like it's the same exact thing. I can work out a shitload, but like if me and another girl work out the exact same, we eat the exact same, we're not going to look the same. So it's like if I can focus on myself and my genetics and find what I really appreciate and love, what I already have, and recognize that there's always going to be stuff that I'm not like super crazy about. But as long as I can recognize that like if it's 1 to 10, we're doing all right. It's okay too. Like it's just like a balance. This whole fucking shit's a balance. But your mind is like so much more powerful than you think. So like, use it to your advantage and get your brain on your team. And you'll probably just live like, you know, just like a more happier, like positive, like situation where you don't have to like feel shitty all the time either. It's such a huge confidence boost too. Like it's such a glow up really. When you glow up from the inside out, it's like insane. Like it's just like the glow like really does radiate off of you. Like people are like, you're like glowing once you have that like positive relationship within yourself. Like mentally and physically, like it's just like, I don't know, everything else kind of follows suit. Like you kind of are more beautiful, really. Like you just because it's your energy that's beautiful, not anything about your physical appearance. It's just your energy. And you've met people like that too. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Like even someone who like, I feel like we've all had this where you're like attracted to someone, but like you look at them physically and you're like, I'm not even that attracted to them. But you've talked to them and their personality is so like, they have this confidence, they're sure of themselves, they know who they are. And that is like a very attractive quality to have. To where it's like, for you, you're like drawn to them, not even because of what they look like. So anyways, that's the shit that we're working on this week is going to be our relationship with ourselves, how we talk to ourselves in our heads and our brains, physically, mentally, whatever you want to work on, whether that be, you know, remembering people's names or just treating yourself a little bit better or making sure that you're your number one supporter. I'm your number 2. I am. But you have to be your own number 1. You have to be. Nobody else can take that spot, okay? And then, yeah, shit I'm wondering this week, just because I'm curious. Like, I don't know. How do you view yourself in your memory? How do you dream? Is it in first-person perspective or third-person perspective? And what does that mean? What does that mean? If you have any thoughts on what that means, please tell me, because I'm just like, I'm curious. But that's all I got for you today. If you want to hear more from me, you can follow me on Instagram, on TikTok, at Amber Meisner with 2 R's. And I will see you on the next one, because this confidence shit really is fucking hard.